Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to our daily devotional. It's Friday. Yeah, I love it. This week we're going through parables, and we have the opportunity to share our favorite parable. And this has been challenging because I'm thankful for all of the parables that Jesus gives us because they speak into so many different areas of our lives. But this one that I was called to this morning really speaks to something that I think I've struggled with, and I'm sure many do as well. But it's this idea of humility and being humble and not operating in pride. And so this morning I want to share with you from Luke 14. It's a parable. It's a short one. It's called the parable of the wedding feast. And what Jesus is teaching in here is this reality that when we exalt ourselves, right? When we take that position of exalting ourselves over another, right? We recognize that we've placed ourselves in a position that maybe God hasn't called us into, and at times we have to walk in humbleness, and at times it even looks like a humiliation, right? It could be we want humility, but unfortunately we need to experience humiliation. I was thinking of a time in college where I experienced, I guess, humiliation or embarrassment where I could have been humble, but I decided to just think I was too cool. And I was at a social gathering and just thinking I was awesome and strutting down, and had my theme music in my head that I was like, it's so cool. And not noticing that there was some sort of beverage that was spilled, and I was wearing flip-flops, which did not have much grip on them. And so I'm walking down, think I'm cool. Hey, what's up, everybody? And then all of a sudden, whoo, just this incredible fall. Probably one of the best falls I've ever had in my life. Not really, it hurt, but it was from like a movie or like a cartoon. Legs in the air and just me flat on my back. Kind of just wondering, do I get up? What do I do? What's happening here? How do I proceed, right? And in fact, that kind of taught me some humility. As much as it was painful, it really spoke to me in a way. So let's talk about the Bible, because that's more important. But it's interesting, before we go into that parable, Jesus leads into it with kind of an encounter with the Pharisees, as Jesus is actually healing a man who has dropsy, and he's healing him on the Sabbath. And the Pharisees, who have elevated themselves and have done, got themselves to a place of just honor in the culture, have kind of elevated themselves, even to the point of they think they're greater than the Messiah, greater than Jesus. And Jesus heals on the Sabbath, and they're just all up in arms, and they're all upset. And so Jesus goes on to tell this parable, and it says this. So he told them a parable to those who were invited, when he noticed how they chose the places of honor, saying to them, when you're invited by someone to a wedding feast, do not sit down in a place of honor, lest someone more distinguished than you be invited by him. And he who invited you both will come and say to you, give your place to this person, and then you will begin with shame to take the lowest place. But when you're invited, go and sit in the lowest place, so that when your host comes, he may say to you, friend, move up higher. Then you'll be honored in the presence of all who sit at the table. For everyone who exalts himself will be humbled, and he who humbles himself will be exalted. Read that last line again. For everyone who exalts himself will be humbled, and he who humbles himself will be exalted. So what does that look like today for you? What does it look like to just walk in this idea of humbling ourselves, right? I think as we talk to this through Proverbs in a series, one of the things is we realize that wisdom, it comes from a place of humility, of recognizing that we don't know everything, and that we need to seek knowledge and seek wisdom, and recognize that maybe we're at a place where we should just walk in maybe the lowest spot as we listen, and then God, in his time, may exalt us and may raise us to a place where we can share knowledge, or we can speak into the lives of others. I think one area where we can walk in humility now as a church and as disciples of Jesus is the way we interact with one another, the way we interact with people on social media, right? Moving away from our assumptions or things that may cause controversy, but rather walk in humility and share the humble truth of this humble Messiah, right? The Messiah who came in riding on a donkey, right? And share that with the world. So my challenge this morning to all of us is, where am I walking outside of humility? Where have I exalted myself? Right? Where have I placed myself at this some sort of pedestal, right? Where maybe God hasn't called me there. Maybe God's, in some sense, going to humble me. And I don't want to deal with that humiliation, if I'm honest. I'd rather walk in humility because we have a God who is great and vast and deserves all the praise and all the exaltation. Right? And we get to serve him and we get to praise him. So hope you guys have a great day. Also, if you want to do just some real, just follow up, Philippians 2, a great passage that talks about just the humility of Christ. And as followers of him, that's our go-to. That's what we recognize. How do we follow him in humility? Read that passage. Study that today. Have a great day.